voudrais d'abord vous remercier pour ces mots aimables. Je ne me suis pas reconnu dans tout ce que vous avez dit de moi, particulièrement vous m'avez appelé banquier. Humblement, je suis un employé de banque. Parce que ceux qu'on a appelés les banquiers, ce sont ceux qui ont fondé les banques 15e, 16e siècle, 17e siècle. Ce sont ceux-là qui sont les banquiers. Nous autres, nous sommes employés. Je voudrais d'abord remercier les organisateurs, notamment Afrique Expansion Magazine et Forum Africain, pour nous avoir associés effectivement à cet important événement. Avant de toucher à mon sujet, je voudrais souhaiter tout le mal nécessaire au nouveau journal. C'est pour ça qu'on dit tout le mal nécessaire. Chez les francophones, on dit il y a un mot de Cambodge pour souhaiter bonne chance. En réalité, si ce journal, ce magazine n'existait pas maintenant, il aurait fallu le créer à cela. Pour la seule et bonne raison qu'il a été démontré que le commerce est un vecteur puissant de développement. Il n'y a qu'à regarder tout près de nous l'Asie du Sud, en l'espace de 30 ans, ce qu'ils ont fait avec le développement du commerce. C'est un exemple que nous souhaitons voir imité en Afrique. Donc, félicitations pour cette initiative et encore une fois, en tout cas, vous nous trouverez à vos côtés pour pousser cette initiative. Je voudrais maintenant passer à la présentation qu'on m'a demandé de faire. Ça, c'est la technologie, c'est à droite pour avancer une page, c'est ça? All right. Thank you very much. First of all, maybe for those who are English speaking, sorry, I would like to say that if the magazine Africa Trade didn't exist, there would be a need to invent such a magazine because trade, as we all know, is a powerful engine for growth and economic development, as has been demonstrated by the Southeast Asian countries over the past 30 years. So that's what I've said in the introduction. J'ai appuyé les deux côtes. Non, ça vous est ça. Well, for those who do not know, the African Export-Import Bank, Bank, is a multilateral financial institution that was established in 1993 as a unique public-private partnership at multilateral level. There are institutions at multilateral level that are mostly owned by government. But in the case of the African Export-Import Bank, it's a unique partnership which includes African governments, African private investors, and non-African private investors. The institution is headquartered in Cairo, Egypt, and we have the objective of promoting trade between Africa and the rest of the world, and trade among African countries. I was trying to look around to see whether the president of Akanja was around. The African Export-Import Bank is actually an idea that President Jai, when he was president of the African Development Bank, and African Development Bank spearheaded the implementation of this idea that led to the establishment of the bank in 1993. The bank currently has 4 classes of shareholders. Originally, we had 3 classes of shareholders, but in 2012, the shareholders agreed to introduce a new class, which is the Class D, which is essentially targeting private investors, equity investors, sovereign funds like. Because when the bank was being established in 1993, total African trade was in the tune of $200 billion. And in 2011, it has passed the 1 trillion mark. So during that period, the shareholders fund, the capital of the bank, did not really increase in a commensurate way. So we do need now to ensure that we develop our means of intervention, and one of the means is to ensure that we have adequate capital to meet the rising demand. The bank has been operating as a profit-oriented vehicle. We've been paying dividend to our shareholders since 1997, consistently, and we have a rating, investment grade rating, from the 3 major rating agencies, Moody's, Fitch, and S&P. Now, to address the topic that I've been asked to talk about today, that is the emergence, the trade and emergence in Africa. I'm going first to briefly describe the place of Africa in the global economy, then highlight key emerging trends in the African trade. I will elaborate on the attractiveness of Africa as an investment destination, and then shed some light on the role that our bank is playing to support trade and economic development in the continent. Of course, in many of the information that I will be providing, you would have heard it over the past 2 days now, because that's the topic of the meeting on this the forum. President Ndiaye, President Obasanjo, and many of the speakers would have talked about the same thing. Latin people say that repeating something has also some merits. I will make sure I don't spend too much time on information that by now we all have, so that we leave sufficient time to go to more specifics about the role that the bank is actually playing, and also to provide more information or more answers to questions that you might have. African economic growth performance in the past 12 years or so has been generally described as remarkable. It is perhaps more remarkable when you consider the multiplicity of challenges that emerged in the global economy during the last decade. Notably, when you look at the financial and economic crisis of 2008-2009, and the sovereign debt crisis in the Eurozone in 2009. The economies, once on its cover, had Africa the openest continent. And in March this year, if you remember, the same economies now had discovered Africa on the rise. In the span of less than 10 years, a magazine is now recognizing that things have been changing for the better for the continent. Africa is the second fastest region, as has been said before, after developing Asia. The real GDP of Africa grew at an average annual rate of 4.8% during the period 2001 to 2010, which is more than twice the pace that was achieved in the 90s and the 80s and the 90s, as we could see in those two figures, figure 1 and 2. Africa economies, as a group, is forecast to grow at an average annual rate of about 5.5% over the next decade. One of the striking features of the emergent African economy is its resilience. I was talking about the crisis of the economic and financial crisis of 2008 to 2009. When you look back during the 90s, 80s, and 90s, during the Latin American debt crisis and the Asian debt crisis, Africa continues still to experience some growth. The changes that we are now observing in Africa's economic performance today are a consequence of a multiplicity of factors, which are an improvement in the productivity and an altering of the structure of many African economies, as well as the composition, direction, and the conduct of African trade. First, Africa's middle class of about 60 million in 2011, and the fastest growing in the world, is forecast to reach about 100 million in 2015, as you can see from the chart. The implication of this is sustained growth in household spending on consumer goods and services, such as ICT and entertainment, as well as financial, housing, and construction, the hospitality industries, tourism services, among others. Whichever sector of consumption that you take, it has been growing because you have an increasing middle class in the continent, and that has been said by most of the speakers of the past 2 years. The other point, which has also been emphasized, is that Africa is at last enjoying peace and stability generally, as reflected by a gradual but steady improvement in governance and political landscape. A growing number of countries are beginning to accept the ballot box as the most appropriate means of expressing dissatisfaction rather than the bullet. As you could see from the graph that is showing, it's a graph about the number of military coups d'etat in Africa during the period of 1960 to 2011. You could see that in 1970, you had 22 countries that had experienced coup, whereas for the period 2010 to 2011, only 4 countries. Of course, one could say why don't we have a coup-less continent? I think the trend is heading towards a continent with better governance and more democracy. The recent outcomes of the presidential parliamentary election in countries like Ghana, Kenya, Zimbabwe attest to this fact. Also, cross-border trade and investment flows within Africa, which were long suppressed by difficult custom and border crossing procedures, have recovered and are rising. Foreign direct investment flows into Africa have increased by more than 5-fold, from $9.6 billion in 2000 to over $50 billion in 2011, as you can see for that. Other factors that contributed to Africa's recent impressive growth performance includes increased capital investment in infrastructure development, improvement in legal and regulatory framework in many countries through reforms, booming oil and gas sector following a spate of major discovery and development of new oil fields in a growing number of countries. I was attending a meeting recently where I said that if you look at the map of Africa, on the coast of the Atlantic, almost each and every country on that coast have discovered oil, from whether you take from Morocco all the way down to Angola and Namibia. On the Indian Ocean coast, you have gas. Now, new discovery in almost every country, whether you take Tanzania, Kenya, and so on. So it's a continent that is endowed with natural resources. Also rapidly improving international investors' perception of the continent as an attractive and safe destination for investors. And of course, what everybody has been talking about, the commodity boom of the 2000s, which was driven by a strong demand. So trade continues to be the principal driver of economic growth in Africa due to firm global demand for commodities, particularly from the big and rapidly growing emerging developing economies during the last decade. In this regard, the value of Africa's merchandise trade grew at an average impressive annual rate of 40%, from 242 billion in 1980 to 1 trillion in 2008, and further to an estimated 1.28 trillion in 2012. There was a small decrease in 2009, which is essentially explained by the global financial and economic crisis. The continent's total merchandise trade is expected to maintain an upward trend to over 2 trillion by 2016. The observed growth in merchandise trade contributed to raise the share of trade in Africa's total GDP from a level of 38% in 1980 to over 60% in 2010. Partly responsible for the sustained rise in the continent's merchandise and real GDP is the strengthening of trade and economic ties between Africa and the major economies of the South. Africa is gradually diversifying its export market and sources of external development finance away from some of the slow-growing economies in the North to the fast-growing major economies in the South. In this regard, during the last 3 decades, the share of the South's economies in Africa's merchandise exports grew from a level of 17% in 1990 to over 44% in 2010, and with China replacing the US as Africa's single largest trading partner, as has been said by all the speakers. India, Brazil, and Brazil have also seen improvement in trade relations with Africa. For instance, in 2010, India replaced Germany as Africa's fourth largest trading partner, accounting for 5% of the continent's global merchandise trade. These major South economies have become important contributors to output growth in Africa in recent times. Apart from markets for African exports, major South economies have become important providers of appropriately priced capital and technology, which continue to support modernization and extension of the continent's economic infrastructure, rail and road networks, energy and export processing capacity, among others. For example, of the 72 major investment activities undertaken by Asian companies in Africa between 1995 and 2005, 42 were in the services sector, 16 in the manufacturing sector, and 14 in the agricultural sector, mainly for agro-processing. Chinese, Indian, and Brazilian companies are presently executing major infrastructure modernization extension projects being funded by the national government or export credit agencies. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa's economic renaissance provides substantial business opportunities that are often overlooked by many international investors. It has been estimated that Africa's consumer and natural resources, agriculture and infrastructure services sector would generate a combined annual revenue of $2.6 trillion by 2020 if these sectors are able to attract the required capital investment, as was stated by McKinsey. For example, Africa's total crude oil reserves ranges between 200 to 210 billion barrels as of 2010. This represents enormous business opportunities to oil and gas major international investors, including the Canadian. Recent significant oil and gas discoveries in Chad, Uganda, Mozambique, Ghana, Tanzania, Cote d'Ivoire, and promising prospects in Kenya, Mali, and Sierra Leone seem to be attracting the attention of African and non-African investors. Africa is richly endowed with mineral and metals, and many African economies are becoming more important in terms of global mineral and metal production. Further, the new gold mining exploration projects are being developed in Ghana, Burkina Faso, Mali, Mauritania, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Tanzania. Demand for real estate and housing development, ICT, banking, education, and health services continue to rise in Africa, which provides opportunities for OECD's investors, including Canadians who are interested in these sectors. Africa's huge infrastructure gap also provides enormous investment financing opportunities to international investors. It's been said by the other speakers. According to the World Bank, capital investments required for modernization and extension of infrastructure in Africa is estimated to be around $93 billion per year over the next decade, if Africa is to bridge that infrastructure gap. Further, additional investment opportunities exist in the following sectors: irrigation and water resources, water and sewage facilities, post-harvest conservation facilities, warehouses and silos and so on. It's maybe shocking to some of you to learn that more than 60% of the harvest perish before reaching the market in many African countries. And then a country like Ivory Coast, my country of origin, which I know very well, more than 60% of the yam that is harvested never reaches the market because they just rot before getting there because of inadequate supply chain, inadequate warehousing, inadequate roads, and so on. So there are opportunities for investment in Germany. Roads and rail networks. Virtually no African country, maybe Tanzania, is a Tanzania at some point of time, and South Africa recently is the gold trade. Have added kilometers of rail to what was inherited from the colonial time. So there are opportunities in those areas. Rail, particularly rail because it is environmentally more friendly than roads. Construction of ports and harbors and container terminals, oil storage, pipelines, refineries, and distribution facilities, hydroelectric power plants, and so on, which was highlighted by the speakers yesterday. The attractiveness of the continent as an investment destination further stems from the fact that Africa presently offers the second highest rate of return on investment across emerging markets after Europe and Central Asia. Other sources of attraction include better growth prospects in Africa, rapidly improving macroeconomic environment in Africa due to continued course prudent fiscal and monetary policies, rapidly improving political governance and stability in the continent, ongoing privatization in most African economies, and the growing middle class, which are Now, let's look at what Afreximbank has been doing to promote trade and development. Afreximbank has been a strong supporter of Africa's ongoing trade and economic revival. More specifically, the bank has deployed a number of innovative financial programs and facilities and initiatives aimed at sustaining development of African trade and economies consistent with its mandate. Aside from the direct funding that the bank offers, we also offer investment guarantees, irrevocable reimbursement guarantee, and country risk guarantees. These are facilities that help to attract foreign capital to support bankable trade and project venture in Africa. Investment guarantees offered to sovereign funds, investors in trade promoting ventures, CTM projects likely to generate carbon credits and DOT type of project in Africa. For the country risk guarantee, it is in favor of international and African banks or investors with credit exposure to Africa against certain country risk events. The irrevocable reimbursement guarantee has been established in favor of international lenders, investors, and traders against payment risk of African counterparties. Aside from attracting investment flows into Africa, Afreximbank has been complementing the efforts of regional and sub-regional development agencies and national governments at facilitating the decommoditization of the continent's export basket. In 2002, the bank launched the Export Development Finance Program to provide credit, risk-bearing, market access, and advisory services to African corporates promoting export-related projects. Throughout this program, the bank supports the acquisition of technology, plant and equipment, etc., required for processing of goods for export. Between 2002 and 2012, the bank committed a total of $420 million to project-related and export development activities. In 2010, for instance, the bank raised $70 million syndicated loan to support the cotton company of Zimbabwe, an agro-processing company, to support investment across its value chain. In 2012, the bank approved credit facilities in the total amount of $70 million to assist 3 firms in West Africa to procure plant and equipment required for the processing of cocoa beans for export. This is a very important initiative that we have started, which we call the Africa Cocoa Initiative, AFRICOI, in collaboration with the International Coffee Cocoa Organization in London. Exporting raw beans of cocoa, in our view, is equivalent to exporting jobs. Because what you are just saying, by sending unprocessed bean, you are just telling the importer, please process it, make chocolates, and then sell it back to you. So that's where the value addition is made. So there is no reason why 4 countries, which are controlling more than 80% of the cocoa of this world, will only export less than 20% of processed cocoa. There's no reason for that. So we have initiated the Africa Cocoa Initiative, and right now we finance 4 companies in Cote d'Ivoire, 2 in Nigeria, and we are working with 1 in Ghana, and very close to signing stage, in order for those local companies to acquire the equipment, process further the cocoa, and with time get all the way to the finished product. During 2007 to 2012, through our leveraging activities, we have attracted a total of $5 billion to support trade-related activities in the continent. The bank is also aggressively supporting efforts at bridging the huge infrastructural gap which I mentioned earlier, but focusing on promotion and financing of trade-related infrastructure, such as ports, harbors, warehouses, and export processing zones, for the purpose of improving access of African counterparties to modern and efficient technology and bodies, capital goods, and equipment, which are needed to support production in Africa. The bank has been aggressively deepening its partnership with major export credit agencies, including the EDC of Canada. Further, the bank has been supporting improvement in air links by funding Africa's aviation industry. During the 2009 to 2012 period, the bank has arranged an ECA-backed facilities for acquisition of aircraft for Aricare, the Nigerian airline, for long-haul flight 540, which operates in Kenya, Angola, Ghana, and for Kenya Airways. We just finished the financing for about 20 aircraft for Kenya Airways for an amount of about $2 billion. In 2012, the bank has arranged financing for Kenya Airways. That's what the one I was just talking about. There is also another initiative which I will talk about briefly, is the COTOU facility, Construction Tourism Facility. The bank has started developing the construction of hotels of grandstanding in the continent. How can you attract investors if they cannot stay in decent hotels in our continent? So we have designed a product which we call COTOU, and which we are starting implementing, through which we've been able to build Radisson Hotel and its extension in Mali. We're starting a Radisson Hotel in Cote d'Ivoire. We built hotels in Nigeria, and we have currently a pipeline of hotel projects of about $1 billion, which needed to be financed. So let me conclude now. As I said in my presentation, the bank did and intends to continue to work with African government and the international development partners, as well as African and non-African private sector entities, and regional development bank to support trade and economic development in the country. I'll therefore invite international investors, especially Canadian entrepreneurs and corporates gathered in this hall to seriously consider making investment in Africa in support of the continent's economic revival. Afreximbank is ready to share the risk and such investment in Africa through co-financing of viable trade and project ventures, provision of our investment, reimbursement, and country risk guarantees to the Canadian investors. Offer our investment banking and advisory trade information services. On the ECA financing, we work with most export credit agencies of this world. The financing of the aircraft that I was just talking about, we did work with US Exim to finance the part that was related to the Boeing. We work with the BNPS for the Embraer parts, etc. So I wish to conclude by conveying our sincere gratitude to the organizer for putting together this important and well-attended conference, and for inviting our bank to share our thoughts on how Canadian investors will partner with their African counterparts, drawing on Afreximbank's immense and reliable local knowledge, credibility, and stature in the African market as a partner to support trade and economic development in Africa. I thank you for your attention.